From the studios of 7 Perth, Susannah Carr and Ardon.
Good evening and happy Australia Day. Welcome to 7 News as Perth prepares for a very hot but spectacular skyworks. The latest on the weather and the crowds soon. But first, the Prime Minister has been caught up in a frightening security scare involving dozens of protesters from the Aboriginal Tent Embassy in Canberra. Mia Greaves reports.
It's an Australia Day the Prime Minister won't forget as she left an awards ceremony in Canberra. Her security detail and federal police immediately step in. In the middle of the pack, you can see Julia Gillard's white jacket. Seconds later, she stumbles and is grabbed by her minders, with protesters from the Tent Embassy shoved out of the way. A shaken Prime Minister is pushed into her car. Moments later, the opposition leader is also rushed to her vehicle. Police then clear a path through more than 100 protesters to get them to safety. The angry mob had earlier barricaded the leaders inside an Australia Day event at a function centre. They were trapped inside for almost half an hour. Aboriginal elders say the Prime Minister wasn't their target. Their anger was directed at Tony Abbott, who they believe wants the Tent Embassy torn down.
I think a lot's changed since then, and I think it probably is time to move on from that.
So, what do you expect us to do when we're 200 yards away from a person that makes that comment?
Today marks 40 years since it was established on the lawn outside Old Parliament House. The ACT police say no one will be arrested over the incident. Julia Gillard is expected to resume her Australia Day duties this evening, hosting a function at the lodge.
Oh, I'm fine. I mean, the only thing that really kind of angers me about it is it disrupted such a wonderful event.
Mia Greaves, 7 News.
Perth is sweltering through Australia Day 2012 in the lead up to Skyworks at 8 o'clock tonight. Rick Ardon and Sally Bowrey are in Kings Park. Happy Australia Day to you both. And Rick, how are things shaping up in the city?
Thanks, Sue. Happy Australia Day to you too and to all our viewers. It's a fantastic vantage point here for the big show. In 2 hours' time, $450,000 worth of fireworks will light up the sky behind us. I can tell you it's still very warm here in Kings Park. And Sally, our hottest Australia Day in 33 years.
You can certainly feel it. And Rick, it's currently 38 degrees in the city and there's actually a few showers just coming through now. We've just felt a couple of drops then. Those showers earlier on moved through the northern suburbs. That did help cool things down there in Wanneroo. It dropped down to 34.9 degrees. It's quite cloudy in Kalamunda too, 35 there. Swanbourne was the hottest spot in all of WA today, and in Mandurah it's around 36 degrees.
Thanks, Sally. Alexis, Donkin spent Australia Day finding out how people coped with the heat. Not surprisingly, thousands headed to the coast to enjoy a day at the... Finding out how people coped with the heat. Not surprisingly, thousands headed to the coast to enjoy a day at the beach.
Scarborough's had its fair share of dramas this week. Hundreds of rescues and the drowning of a tourist. Today, tens of thousands enjoyed perfect swimming conditions. At Cottesloe, a new world record. 2,000 inflatable thongs on the water. At Adventure World, more than 3,000 people went through the gates today. It wasn't all fun though.
Chocolate Bavarian, this turned to mush.
A power cut left Stephen McBride and dozens of his Ocean Reef neighbours without power for more than 22 hours.
You know, our food is being wrecked. We've got no air conditioning, the fans don't turn on.
The heat kept crowds away from the river foreshore, none of the usual early build-up for Skyworks.
It's 1:30 and almost 41 degrees and, well, the cityside foreshore, you can see behind me, is virtually empty.
Front row seats for Skyworks required some serious dedication.
Is it worth hanging around in the...
Oh yeah, lovely, yeah.
The bell tower became a water playground. If you've really felt the heat in the last 24 hours, it's no wonder. At midnight, it was still 31 degrees in Perth. The coolest it got, 6 a.m, 25.4. At 8 this morning, it was 30 again. We reached our peak at 2:30, 41.9 degrees. Alexis, Donkin, 7 News.
Let's go to the South Perth foreshore now and Police Commissioner Carl O'Callaghan. Good evening, Commissioner. Have police seen much trouble so far?
Well, Sue, it's been a very quiet afternoon for us. We've only had a couple of incidents. We found about 30 litres of wine hidden in Supreme Court Gardens and a couple of cartons of beer. We've had a boat on the river with 30 people in it who've been drunk and fighting. We sent that back to where it came from, so it's not in the Skyworks zone. And there's been some small problems down at Mandurah, but otherwise it's been quiet out here.
Commissioner, how tolerant will you be on drinking tonight?
Well, we're asking people coming down today to use the 2 drinking zones if they want to drink. There's one on the Esplanade and another one at Kings Park, which has been extended this year. Last year people cooperated well. If people are drinking outside of those zones, police will take action. They will at least speak to people, but they may charge them or seize their alcohol.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Thanks,
Let's
Sue.
take a look now at the city from the sky. Geof Parry has the perfect view from the 7 News helicopter. Geoff, does it look like the heat has put people off?
Yeah, it does. It must be something like the heat, Susannah. I can tell you it's quite a small crowd at the moment. Still, obviously, a couple of hours to go before the big show kicks off. But we've heard from Sal how hot it is down there. Plenty of spots everywhere on the South Perth foreshore, on the Esplanade. The biggest concentration is probably up in Kings Park. But I can tell you, I've probably arguably got the best seat in the house. But I can tell you there's plenty of good seats to be had there. Quite a bit of grass we can see from the air. People have got their blankets out and they've still got plenty of room. Now, there is a bit of foot traffic moving into it. The vehicle traffic obviously can't get as close, but people are leaving their cars and coming in. So the crowd is building, and perhaps they're just finishing up at the beach and they'll be in here in an hour or so. Rick?
Thanks, Geoff. It was also a day to honour West Australians who've contributed most to their country and their community. Among the recipients in this year's honours list, the WA Governor and a Warwick man has helped save thousands of lives. Samantha Jolly reports.
Hi, Sally Bowrey coming to you again from Kings Park. The countdown is on to the Australia Day Skyworks, which are about an hour and a half away. The forecast for this evening is for partly cloudy skies with some showers and storms over the northern suburbs. But as you can see, we've also got some showers here and some gusty conditions at the moment too. Of course, it was very toasty overnight. Temperatures were around 8 degrees above average for most. Today, the city peaked just under 42 degrees. It's all happening here at the moment. As you can see, the show in the sky is happening too. Around the metro area, not a sign of a sea breeze today outside of the western suburbs. Swanbourne was the hot spot. The reason why is because it actually cops the full force of those easterly winds that pick the heat off the city too. Around the state today, hot in the south except for the south coast and cooler for the north with showers and thunderstorms. In fact, 2 out of the 3 hotspots in the state today were in Perth. Red Rock Point in the Eucla was the place to be, a cool 23 degrees today. Tomorrow in WA, showers and storms for the Pilbara, northwest Kimberley and Gascoyne with some flooding possible for some of those areas. A cyclone watch has been declared for coastal areas from Wim Creek to Coral Bay. Tropical cyclone Iggy is continuing to move slowly towards the western Pilbara over the next few days. Iggy could also affect Perth's weather over the weekend, making those easterlies stronger at times. Wet weather for a lot of the east coast around the rest of the country with sunny skies expected in Adelaide, while on the water in Perth tomorrow we're expecting southeast to northeasterly winds, seas to 1.5 metres. And it looks like the forecast for Perth tomorrow is for hot conditions, and it looks like it'll stay that way across into the weekend, but it looks like we may not actually break the heatwave record that we were expecting earlier, with cooler conditions pushing through into next week. Those sea breezes are also forecast to pick up too. We'll drop down to a very nice 33 degrees on Monday, and then we'll start to warm up again into midweek on Wednesday. And now it's time for Powerball. Good luck.
And that's 7 News for this Australia Day. Thanks for your company. Now here's Monica with Today Tonight.